Call to order the meeting of the Capital Improvements Board. May I please have the clerk call roll?
Absolutely. Flores?
Here.
Krasinski?
Here.
Petro?
Here.
Spitali?
Yep.
Tyler?
Here.
Vanez?
Here.
Button.
Here. All are present. Next item on the agenda is organizational meeting. At this point in time, since this is our first Capital Improvements Board meeting, we need to form as a proper Capital Improvements Board. By ordinance, the city engineer is effectively the president of the Capital Improvements Board. I would ask that we entertain filling the sole position of vice presidents, and is there a nomination for vice president?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Marlon Krasinski as vice president.
Motion on the floor for Mr. Mylan Krasinski to be vice president. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Prieto, seconded by Councilwoman Vanez, that Mr. Krasinski be elected as the vice president. I would first ask Mr. Krasinski if he is willing to serve in such a capacity.
Yes, sir, I accept.
Thank you. Is there any other nominations open for the current position of vice president? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? I would then ask the clerk to call roll to effectively elect Councilman Krasinski, Commissioner Krasinski, as vice president. Go ahead.
Flores?
Yes.
Krasinski?
Yes.
Petro?
Yes.
Spitali?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Vanez?
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Congratulations, Mr. Krasinski, on your new position.
Thank you.
No extra pay.
It's quite all right.
That would conclude our organization and election of officers. So I will move on. Since this is our first meeting, we thought that it might be worthwhile to go ahead, and we did meet as a group on November 18th for the work study session, at which point we discussed formation of this council and a number of projects that were involved. So I would entertain a motion for approval of the last meeting minutes work study session.
Mr. President.
So move. Second.
Been moved by Councilwoman Vanez, seconded by Councilman Spitali to approve the work study session meeting minutes. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Flores?
Yes.
Krasinski?
Yes.
Petro?
Yes.
Spitali?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Vanez?
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a report on the work study session that occurred immediately prior to this meeting at 5 o'clock. If the board has no objection, the chair would go ahead and make that presentation.
Please
Mr.
do.
Chairman.
Thank you. We met at 5 o'clock this afternoon to discuss the items on this agenda, similar to the city, what the city council, common council does with their meetings and in caucus. And so we basically ran through the agenda to make sure we all understood what the plan was. We set some organizational understanding that we would do a roll call, thanks to corporate counsel Kevin Smith, who suggested that we do roll call on every action item given the current condition of the pandemic and the governor's order. We also made review of the projects that were listed in the agenda today at tonight's meeting, and we carried on with the list of projects that are of importance to the city that we started on at the last meeting. Anybody want to add to or make further comment on the meeting that we had prior to this?
No.
Okay. I would say that all commissioners were in attendance at that meeting. Next item on the agenda is item number 7, which is funding. And at this point, we hope in the future to have a funding report, but I would ask our city controller if there's anything to add at this time.
Nothing to add at this time, but as you mentioned, hopefully moving forward after we've approved a few projects and got a few online, I can give an update.
Great. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is item number 8, matters from mayor, council, or other departments. Is there any, the mayor is not present, so is there any council members who would like to address this board?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Emerson.
Yes, I was just wondering if there's a procedure for district councilmen to submit any particular projects that they may have in mind for the coming year. Is it done at this meeting, or how is the mechanics of that work?
So I'm glad you asked, Councilman Emerson. We are still a very new body forming, and at this stage, what we would need from you is a written request of your project and hopefully a justification on the reason for the project. We hope in the future, as we work through our work study sessions, that we will be able to identify, as Councilman Tyler has taught us, to form a rubric or a criteria listing of the proper project selection, because I think that there's a lot of good projects out there that need funding, and we just need to make sure that we are collecting the proper information and making determinations on what those projects are. As you know, Mayor McDermott and the City Council have agreed that the formation of this board was vital to the future of Hammond, because it's been made very difficult in the recent past to do significant projects without consolidating the funding that's available. So I would ask at this point that you're more than welcome to address this board during this segment of our meeting, both in orally, or if you'd like to provide any document written requesting the project and any justification that you may have for your project.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Chairman, and I can tell you it's the 7500 block of Van Buren, and it's actually a block and a half, and as you know, the story, it was never able to be resurfaced, and I will write all this up for you and for the board, but what it boiled down to was, for 2 years, I did a complete rebuild of the 2 blocks north of that from 173rd.
Councilman Emerson? Have we lost you, Councilman Emerson? I think we've lost Councilman Emerson. We do have a record of your comment and your project, Councilman, and it'll be entered into the record in our meeting minutes. And if there's any additional information you'd like to provide to us, or any information that we may already have in the engineering department, we'll certainly be able to provide that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're back. Is there any more comment that you'd like to make, sir?
No, sir.
Thank you. Any other council persons wishing to address the board?
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
I'm not sure who, Councilman Kalwinski. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to speak to you and the committee. I wanted to get on record as at this meeting pertaining to the Pulaski Park swimming pool. As you know, and others, there's a $2 million bond sitting to be used for the pool. And in discussions recently with the mayor and myself, we both agreed that this is a project that needs to move forward, and the monies that exist would probably mostly come out of the Capital Improvement Board. So I want to be clear that before there's official paperwork that we fill out, that to go on record to say that I'd like to see the bond get issued and the Capital Improvement Board consider the swimming pool project, since it's been sitting vacant now and unused for the last 4 years. As you know, there are other projects probably throughout all 6 districts that have been started but not completed. An example of that in the 1st District too is the concrete ribbon in the water gardens on Roosevelt, Hammond, and Blossom Court that didn't get completed, and are probably going to be beyond what the district monies can handle. And as you know too, we did partial striping on Holman Avenue in North Hammond in the 1st District, creating parking lanes and bike lanes, but we didn't complete that project all the way through, so it needs to be done also from about 141st to Goslin. I'm just listing projects that haven't been completed and will be difficult for 1st District or district dollars to complete. So I want to put those out there too. But primarily I wanted to be clear about the swimming pool, the bond, and trying to get the Capital Board to okay that. But more, I'm really interested in the kind of form that you're going to have that we can work off of, so we can submit something formally too. I hope you can get that done sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Kalwinski. I hope we can too. This is a very large lift for this committee to do in the time that we have available, but we will do our very best to provide a robust project selection criteria that identifies the needs that are certainly throughout the city.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other council persons wishing to address this board? Okay, thank you. Any other, any departments within the civil city wishing to address this board? Any departments? Any departments? Next item on the agenda is old business. There is no old business. The next item on the agenda is new business. That is item A, the funding allocation 2020 Community Crossings Design and Construction Engineering, that is DE and CE contract to resurface 169th between Kennedy and Indianapolis Boulevard and Sibley between Holman Avenue and Soul Avenue. Is there a motion to approve the funding allocation?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the funding.
Commissioner Krasinski moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Spitali, Councilman Spitali is seconded. Is there any discussion? If the commissioners don't mind, I'll basically summarize the project, and hopefully, if I miss a point, we'll catch that as well. This project is funded through Community Crossings. We have made the City of Hammond has made application to the State of Indiana Department of Transportation for 50% funding, matched grant from the state and 50% from the local sources. This project is essentially 2 street resurfaces. We recognize that there is, in the current request for projects, there's about $600,000 of state funding available that we have applied for, that we hopefully in the next several weeks we'll get a response from the department whether we have won the project. It is, this is for design and construction, observation, engineering of those two projects. The consultant would be First Group Engineering, who is shown and proven to be a leader in consulting on these types of projects. They have helped us with our application. They will do a plans and specifications and contract documents and help us get that out to bid. The reason why this is somewhat of a urgent action is that we have a very limited time between the time we are given notice of the award and the time that we need to show NDOT that we have a contract in hand with our construction contractor, and that period's about 4 months. And so we're going to need every bit of that time between now and April to have a design ready and a construction contract in hand in order to receive the state grant.
Mr. President?
Councilwoman Venez.
Yes, forgive me because I am new to this whole process, but my question is, if we do not get this designed and construction begun within 4 months, am I correct in understanding that we would lose the grant?
So I haven't been in that position yet, Councilwoman Venez, to.
That means you're very efficient.
Yeah, I'm confident that we can meet that requirement, provided that we hit all of our marks. That is, approval of this funding allocation by this board, approval by the mayor of this funding allocation, approval of the agreement at the Board of Public Works and Safety and this funding allocation, and that we contract with the design engineer to complete the work. I believe that if we were very close to the 4-month cutoff, that the department would see that we have made every action available, and we would explain why there was a delay in the schedule. And I believe that they would not be heartless and turn us down, showing good faith in moving forward. But
Okay. I just did not realize that there was such a tight time frame on grants. So thank you. I understand now.
this particular grant is a very quick trigger, if I might say. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. President, I'd like to add that the cost of this is $105,700.
Thank you, Commissioner Krasinski. I appreciate that. Any other questions? Any other questions? Being none, we have a valid motion and second. I would ask that the clerk call the roll.
Flores,
Yes.
Krasinski,
Yes.
Petro,
Yes.
Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler. Yes. Venez,
Yes.
Button.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is funding allocation, Summer Street Design, Phase 1, between Columbia and Willis, NDOT DES number 1902700. Is there a motion to approve funding allocation for Summer Street Design?
Make the motion to approve?
Commissioner
Second.
Pareto, seconded by Commissioner Krasinski. Is there any discussion? If the board will allow me, I will make a brief presentation, discussion on this project.
Please.
Thank you. So in 2018, the city of Hammond petitioned NERC to receive federal funding for Summer Street from Columbia to Indianapolis Boulevard. NERPS and the mayor has signed a commitment to funding this project if we were to be selected. NERPC asked that the project be phased and funded and awarded us approximately $3,500,000 of federal funding to complete the construction of Summer Street between Columbia and Willis. This project is for design engineering services with American Structure Point, and it would be in the amount of $486,455. American Structure Point is one of two consultants who have helped the city of Hammond navigate the federal aid project construction and design process, and we have had great success with them as shown on a number of federal aid projects. The project is highly instrumental to improving the stormwater and drainage, not only in the Summer Street area between Columbia and Willis, but also notably Sherman Street, which is one block immediately south of Summer, which experienced devastating flooding on May the 23rd of 2020 when a vast storm hit the city of Hammond and caused about 24 hours worth of standing water in Summer Street. This will separate the storm and sanitary sewers in those areas and allow more sanitary sewer to flow into the combined sewer and less stormwater, and the stormwater would be directed to our Howard Avenue pump station. This is a vital project to the city in order to provide a public health and safety improvement, and I appreciate the board's consideration in this action. Is there any other discussion on this matter? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? A roll call, please, clerk.
Flores,
Yes.
Krasinski,
Yes.
Prato,
Yes.
Spitali,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Vines,
Yes.
Button.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. I thank the board for their attention in this very vital project. The next item on the agenda will be public expression. This is our first opportunity to have public expression. It seems that no one has signed in at this point. We would ask if you would please come forward, ma'am. You can come forward to the mic. If you could identify yourself, your address, and I would ask that you limit your comments to complete and not redundant comments, and address the board on any projects you may have.
Well, it's a question, really. Shelley Fentress, 6717 Alexander Avenue. And my husband and I and some neighbors have been wondering if there's any discussion about the possibility of having storm drains installed on Alexander Avenue between 167th and 169th, because we also get lots of flooding in our basements over there whenever it rains real hard, not always. So.
Thank you for your comment. I know that there's a segment of Alexander that has been looked at in the past, and so we will take your comment and put it as a matter of the record. And our intent is to put together a selection criteria of projects in order to have projects move forward, and we will have this on our list of projects to consider.
Okay, because we noticed that there were storm drains put in, like right in our area, but it stops at 167th, and we always wondered why and when we're going to get them. So thank you.
Thank you for addressing the board. Is there any other public expression?
Mr. Chairman and board members,
Could you identify yourself and your address and make a complete and concise delivery to this board?
yes, sir. My name is Peter Beda. I am the property owner of 630 116th Street in the Robertsdale section, and my concern is about the curbs from, actually all the way from Forsyth Park to Calumet Avenue on 116th. But in particular, in front of my property, they are crumbling. They've been crumbling for at least 15 years. And I've been trying for at least 5 years myself. My father tried for at least 10 years before he passed away to get these repaired. Councilman Vanez has been very helpful. She notified me about this meeting and suggested I bring this up to the board. And hopefully some funding can be found to repair these curbs because they are a safety hazard. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Does the clerk need any clarification on the, could you spell your name for us, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Peter, and the last name is Beta, spelled B as in boy, E as in Edward, D as in dog, A as in apple.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. We will have it added to our list of projects that is now growing. Appreciate the time. Any other public expression? If not, I would call for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, before you do that, when will be the next meeting?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Keeping us on task. The next meeting is
Fine.
scheduled, the regular meeting will be held at 6 p.m. December 21st in this room or by Zoom, with a work study session preceding this meeting at 5 o'clock.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Commissioner Krasinski. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Prieto. Commissioner Prieto. That's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.